It's not your job to go on the internet and try to make people feel guilty for not being woke. That's not what this is about. So
no, it's your job to make them feel guilty if they're white.
No, it's not. Is it? And again, we don't want to make people feel guilty. We just trying to create conversation. But my question to the people out there that are literally trying to make people feel bad: what is your purpose for doing that?
Welcome to the next episode of Civil Disagreement. My name is Kevin Beers. I'm the host of the show, and to my right here is Michael Green, my co-host. Today, we got a special treat for you. We're going to talk about being woke.
What does woke mean to you, Kevin?
Okay, well, first of all, let me define it.
Yes.
Based on The Guardian, and I will point out I don't typically agree with anything The Guardian says.
Oh, okay.
But they hit this one on the head. So basically, like politically correct before it, the word woke has come to connote the opposite of what it means. Technically, going by Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition, woke means aware of and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. But today we are more likely to see it being used as a stick with which to beat people who aspire to such values, often wielded by those who don't recognize how unwoke they are or proud of the fact. And that's exactly how I experienced it. As I mentioned before, I have a couple of trolls who follow me around on Facebook, and anytime I mention anything on a racial issue, they immediately jump in to tell me how woke they are and how I lack complete empathy for black people. It was probably the last one. And it's all because they have a black friend. They have a black friend, and some of these trolls, I actually know them face to face, and I met their black friend. and as Michael would say, they kind of grew up in the white neighborhood, so they're not really. They haven't really experienced the black.
Let me definitely explain that one. If you grew up, if you're black, you're black. Period. End of story. But there's a difference between being black in America and growing up in black culture. Big difference. We have a term, that black people say, like, all your skin folk ain't your kin folk. And that's what we mean by that. Okay? There is nothing wrong with being black in America and you don't identify in black culture. If that's not how you grew up, if you didn't grow up listening to hip hop, you grew up listening to country music and rock and roll, and you wear Vans or whatever, I mean, it is what it is. That doesn't make you a bad person or something's wrong with you. However you grew up in this country is however you grew up. Okay? But when it comes to being woke, which definitely reemerged during the civil rights movement, okay, and that's where that came from. Pretty much the Black Panthers put that on the map, okay? What ends up happening is you have this whole I hate to say it like this, but liberals, I want to definitely say white liberals, I don't understand where this comes from, but there is this like deep disdain for like they, and again, this is where the whole troll thing comes from. Like, you're talking about a lot of black socioeconomic issues, but yet you have these young white people, and again, we need allies. We love the enthusiasm, but they are literally getting on the internet and they're trying to convince people how woke they are, to the point that they're being so ignorant and trying to bash, and it's almost like they are becoming the thing that they're trying to educate everybody on not being. It's like it's getting ridiculous, like for real. Like, so that's why we're talking about this today.
Yeah, my only reply to those people that tell me how woke they are and how unwoke I am
Yes.
is basically I'm actually having a conversation with people about what they're going through because, yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
And I can never actually empathize truly. Like I can never walk in your shoes. I don't know what you go through on a daily basis.
Yes.
You can tell me about it. That's going to be on the head level. I'm never going to feel it, deep down because I don't experience it. But I'm having that conversation.
Yes.
These people that tell me how woke they are, it's like they swear they know exactly what you're going through.
So, and I definitely want to put something out there. Me and Kevin disagree on a lot of stuff. We have a lot of conversations about stuff. Usually when I throw some realism of my experience, just my personal experience of what I've been through on a certain issue, and it kind of throws race in there, Kevin will be like, hold on. So I have to, hold on, I can't handle what you're saying. Like, because Kevin is now feels like, wow, like how does he process that? That doesn't even sound real to him. But he trusts that I'm not lying to him in my experience, that he really, like, he has to step back and try to find a way to relate that to a real life experience that he can understand, where he can say, okay, I understand what happened to you and how that would affect you in that way at that point in your life. So how do I apply that to the discussion to understand that if a lot of people like you are going through the same thing, how do we solve this so-called issue so that, socially we don't have that problem anymore? And a lot of our discussions end up with, yeah, we need to take government out of everything. But yeah. So, but what I'm trying to find funny is he has trolls. Haters make you famous. I love it. Trolls keep coming. I just want to make this point. How are y'all trolling this man as racist? And y'all see he's doing a podcast with me. That's my only question. Like, the next time y'all troll him and y'all put something up and y'all go to his page and y'all see all the civil disagreement stuff, I just want to know, how is this man like a heart, like, how is he just unsympathetic or unempathetic and a racist, and we're doing this podcast? Just put an answer up there. Just tell us what you think, because I need to figure that out.
well, apparently, if I use a sentence that doesn't come off well, obviously I'm a racist. I mean, I couldn't be that I might have just stated it incorrectly.
It is what it is. So, seeing as though this episode is about wokeness, what is the problem with wokeness as far as you're concerned?
Well, basically, the way I experience it is that it's exactly as The Guardian says. It's a stick that people want to beat me over the head with, to say, you don't seem to understand the plight of these people. I do. I mean, I understand it because I'm woke. You don't understand it. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask that question.
I got you.
But I asked the question because, I don't know the answer to that. So I'm going to ask the question. But because I asked the question, it shows how unwoke I am.
So that's why we're supposed to be having these discussions. You're supposed to be bringing to the table the unwoke people, and you're supposed to be helping them understand what's going on the other side of culture or the fence or politics or whatever is going on in your, with that issue. So not necessarily you're trying to educate them, but you're trying to give them you're trying to inform them of,
or you're trying to give a frame of reference.
Yeah. Hey, this is a different perception of what's going on based on, what's going on over here. Some of the stuff might be just a feeling. Some of the stuff might be factual, actual experience. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be out there just beating people down and being pretentious. I guess that's a word you can use.
Yeah, but we have another definition here from Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. And I don't even know where that came from, but yeah.
And we're discussing how white this explanation really is in the Urban Dictionary. The act of being very pretentious about how much you care about a social issue.
I'm sorry. Like that.
So, but honestly, that's the way I experience it.
Experience it, yes.
Yeah. So it is people being very pretentious.
But I can tell you, none of my. Okay, so I would have to say people that I know that are on certain issues when we talk about them, and we try to say that people are not woke. Usually, what we mean by that is that people really either just don't care or just ignorant of what's going on. Okay, that's there's no real gray area with that. Like case in point, I'll make a real life example. There's plenty of black leadership in and out of politics, civil activists, everything that want to try to have a conversation with politicians that are, or people in power about systematic racism or just racism in this country. Okay. Policing, that thing, things of that nature. Okay. To me, Vice President, Pence, thank you. I don't know why. Vice President Pence, okay, from the vice presidential debate, okay, strikes me as a person that is definitely not woke. Okay, and the reason he is not woke is because he wants to be willfully ignorant, because he just does not care. It is not because the information is not out there for him to look up. It's not because he doesn't have access to the information. It's not because, he lived in a certain part of society for years and nobody has brought this to his attention. He willfully wants to be ignorant. He willfully denies the fact that racism is even a thing in this country. So to me, he is not woke because he just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to entertain people like myself, whether we're in leadership or not. Because to him, there is no racism in America whatsoever. Words out of his own mouth during the presidential debate. Okay? So, during the vice presidential debate. Okay? So, that's what we're talking about. How can people that believe as I believe or feel that I feel that want to have these types of discussions, we want to have it with people that are already in power and already have influence to help us make a change. Again, this is not handout stuff. This is not issues where, I understand if we just believe the way you believe, then we won't have a problem. That's not how America is supposed to work. America is not supposed to work where everybody has to believe the same thing for America to work. If you are out there, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, I don't care what you believe in, if you believe that's the way America is supposed to work, I can honestly tell you you're wrong. Okay, it's too many cultures, creeds, races, religions. It's just too much stuff out there for this to be a free country for everybody just to believe. Like everybody has to believe the same thing across the board about everything. Everybody has to believe the same thing about money. Everybody has to believe the same thing about religion. Everybody has to believe the same thing about family. Everybody has to believe the same thing about this. When you start putting all this stuff down, you're just going to have people that believe differently. So at the end of that whole going back to the woke thing is if we believe there are disenfranchised people in a certain area and we're trying to, hey, this is not right for these people. And you guys that are oblivious to this need to be aware of it. You need to be woke to this. If you're walking around and you're just, we deny that. That is fake news. That's not real. That's just the media telling people what they want to hear. That's the problem with that. So, yeah.
Well, now I'm sitting here thinking about different ways that I actually experienced this wokeness.
Yeah.
One is those who fall in the pretentious line here.
Yes.
They're the ones who basically say, I admit to my white privilege and essentially I hate myself because of it.
That is not what being woke is.
I get that, but that's how these people come across.
Yes.
Like I'm so woke, I hate myself because, whatever. And then it becomes another term that I would throw in there is virtue signaling.
Okay.
So basically, like, if I can show you how woke I am by telling you how much I hate myself, that I was born white and you were born black, I just hate myself over that because, like, uh, obviously, I'm beating you down by sitting here in the same room with you. But if I can hate myself enough, then I'm so much better than everybody else.
No.
And that's
not woke.
No, I get it. As a matter of fact, that's pretentious. That's pretentious. That's the word we're working with. But yeah, it's this whole idea. I mean, honestly, when I first heard it way back when, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I'm like, first of all, it's poor grammar. But
but see, the one thing that what's funny is the whole woke thing is the reason why this exists. You see what I'm saying? So when me and Kevin was, again, sitting in his living room, we sitting on the couch, we having a discussion, Kevin's like, what? What are you talking about? That's not real. That doesn't happen in America. And I'm like, dude, yes, it does. And he's like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, okay, check this out. So I start bringing some facts into it about certain things that happen in history where, dude, you can't deny it because they made movies about it. Come on, they made documentaries about it. And he's like, yeah, I see what you're saying now. It's like, okay. So, and that's how these discussions started. So
wait a second. If I get this right, I'm woke. And therefore I'm better than everybody else.
No, you're not.
No, okay. Just checking. I'm just checking.
No, but I'm just giving an example of if me and Kevin, we're just nobodies in the middle of, on the East Coast of America somewhere that's doing this. And that's a minor example of just how a woke situation can work. Okay. Why is this not working for Vice President Pence? Why is this not working for somebody like Trump? And the only reason it's not working is because people like that don't have an open mind or don't want to have an open mind to have that discussion. Period. It is what it is. Again, I'm not trying to convert Kevin and make him like Kevin is not gonna be like, oh yeah, man, I gotta start dressing like Mike, and I gotta start wearing my hair like Mike, and I gotta start believing in the same things that Mike believes in. I gotta start going to the same churches that Mike goes to. Like, this is not that. Okay,
But let me correct one thing. I will never wear my hair like that. Just saying.
But it's not just that. But at the end of the day, in a public realm, I think I can be a better person by getting some principles from Kevin about how certain things work, whether it be, personally or business wise or just, however that relationship works. And then I think sometimes, Kevin can get some stuff from me to where either personally or publicly, when he handles himself, he can say, oh, okay, yeah, I think I should, do this way, from what I've learned or what I've seen Michael do. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be, a give and take exchange. Some of the things that Kevin might get from me might work for him, and some of the things that I get from Kevin might work for me. But it doesn't mean that we're trying to get the whole entire person to just convert and just believe every single thing we believe. It's not supposed to be that kind of a deal. There's not supposed to be white guilt running around here. And I found it funny because I seen a meme where this guy was wearing a t-shirt that says, "No white guilt, be proud of being a white man." And I'm like, if you have to wear that hat and that t-shirt, something is very, very, very wrong with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you have to put that up as a meme, if you bought a t-shirt that says that, something is wrong. What did somebody tell you that offended you so much that you wore a t-shirt that says "No white guilt here. Be proud of being a white man"? Like, what is going on? And now people will come back and be like, "Oh man, you can't even be a white man in America anymore because it's all this liberal crap." Not one pro-black social agenda says that we need to demonize white people and bring the white people out of authority in every single aspect of America and make everything black.
Well, what's interesting is that it isn't the black agenda that's doing that. It's the white agenda attacking white men.
Yeah, is it? So again,
because we have to hate ourselves, and we don't apparently hate ourselves enough. So we have to do everything we can. As a matter of fact, I was researching for this particular podcast, I came across a really interesting article about how wokeness is harming science. Now, honestly, I agreed with the article on this one. The way it's doing that is that so the government gives out grants for scientific research.
Yes.
And one of the new questions apparently is basically how what you're researching is going to help in ways of like social justice, things like that.
Yes.
So you can't if you're a white man
trying to cure cancer,
you might not be able to get a grant because
you can't solve cancer for black people.
Well,
is that what this is?
Well, you're not a minority. You're not trans. You're not gay. You're not any of these things. You're just a white guy. No, we're not going to give you that money because you're just a white guy. What's special about you? It's like and science is the one area where there should be no color ever. But preferential treatment is being given as far as funding goes.
Okay, now I see why that's there. So let me tell you why that's there. The reason that's there is because...
let me say up front, I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay. That's supposed to be what's going on is that there is supposed to be... It's kind of like affirmative action. Okay? So, again, I'm not with this whole far left deal. I get it. We need allies. We need people that support the cause. I get that. But like affirmative action, there was a correction put in place when people understood that it was not a level playing field. It just was not. The numbers showed it was not a level playing field. It was not. So you have to understand this is years of treatment. So now some people in politics get woke and try to make an adjustment. And what happens is that the people that was benefiting from the uneven playing field, those people started basically complaining. Hey, we've been doing our own thing, for years now, and that's just the way it is. I don't understand why you're changing this stuff. Well, because the playing field is not leveled, and we need to make an adjustment to make it equal for everybody to participate publicly. Well, my friend can't participate because of that, and so I don't like it. Well, you have to understand these people haven't been able to participate for like hundreds of years, not just in the last 2 years. And that's what was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be an ability for minorities to be able to get grant money that they never qualified for some reason.
Yes, and I would agree with that.
Yes.
But what I see happening is, no, we're going to tip the scales the other way. We're going to go way past equal and into preferential treatment.
Yes.
Now, for instance, let's say Dr. Fauci.
Yes.
Dr. Fauci's a white guy. I don't know if you know this, but he is.
Even though it says Fauci, yes, he's a white guy.
Well, Fauci's Italian, isn't he?
But we don't consider Italian white people.
Okay.
Yes. Southern Europe.
Okay. So anyway, Dr. Fauci, I guess he's considered the top virologist or whatever they call it.
Yes.
So he is the top in his field. But if he wants to do research, he may not be able to get the grant to do that based on these other qualifications that are now required.
Yes.
But he's the top guy. Why would you deny the top guy the money to do the research? Wouldn't you want your top guy on that?
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where this whole idea of adding the wokeness to the qualifications doesn't make any sense. Not in science, anyway.
Got you.
You know, not like well, Michael tells me all the time that I'm not like regular people. Because for me, if I own the business, when we do scientific research, I'm just hiring the best people. I don't care. I don't care about their color. I don't care about their gender. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Yes.
I want them for their minds. That's all.
Yes.
You know, that's what I want.
And the issue with that is that in that mindset, what Kevin is talking about is where the so-called wokeness comes from. Because now I have to explain to Kevin, it's nothing wrong with Kevin believes. But now I got to come to Kevin and say, hey, where are the pool of great minds that you're picking from? Oh, I'm picking from this because this is the best place to get them from. Oh, okay. You know, no black people got access to that pool, right? Well, what do you mean? And that's where our conversations come from. And again, that's what we're talking about right now is when we talk about a lot of issues like politics and you know, the whole decriminalization and justice reform and, you know, criminal justice reform and all the rest of that other stuff. It's Kevin believes a certain way in how this country is supposed to work, and there's nothing wrong with his logic in it. But what we have discussions about is when you throw that real human factor in there about what's really been going on, what history has shown us on top of the logic. So we have these discussions on how we can fix that. And like I said, a lot of times it goes to, the government messed everything up. But yeah, yeah. So, but at the end of the day, this woke thing is funny. I find it funny because I'm trying to be woke on social media, trying to not educate. I'm just trying to have discussions. So I kind of politely, I showed Kevin my deal on how I try to be woke, and he's like, yeah, they're not going to respond to that because that's not what they see. And I'm like, well, how do I get them to talk to me? So what we found funny was there was this gentleman who has videos explaining social injustice across all these different spectrums and subjects and infrastructures in this country. And Kevin started looking at his videos, and it's a very articulate white gentleman. And he's like, wow, I like this guy. I can understand every single thing he's talking about. And I'm like, yeah, he speaks your language, doesn't he? He's like, yeah. So he's basically saying every single thing that I've been saying to Kevin for like the last 6 months. But when Kevin hears this gentleman talk, the light bulb goes off.
And that's one of the part of the conversations we have is Michael says, well, this is what I say, but I'm not getting any response. It's like, yes, because you're not speaking the language. It's the language.
Yeah, it's the language.
So basically, I like to look at this podcast as Michael has some issues he wants to bring to the table. I can help put it into a language people who
on his side of the fence can
on my
understand.
side of the fence. Okay, I didn't want to say that, but we'll go with that.
I mean, we all come from different
the
places.
Thing is, but then what I want to say, he's got to interpret over to his side too sometimes.
Yes.
So because
he'll post something, he'll say, hey, why did this person attack me on that? And I'm like, yeah. Okay, so this is what they saw when they saw that. Like somebody had put a post up, and innocently, what they were trying to say, because I got triggered and went in on that post. But when I sent it to Kevin saw, oh, he's trying to explain socialism. But the problem was, in the post, I wasn't trying to be pretentious, but I was trying to make it look like the post was racist.
You can't be pretentious because you're black.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Don't come for me on that one.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
So the problem was I was trying to explain to the person that you're putting a picture up there and how it's going to be received by people that are not conservative blacks, not educated a certain way or taught a certain way by economics. When they see that post, they're just going to think, oh, wow, you're trying to say that black people can't have anything unless white people give it to them, or you have,
Let's explain what the meme really was. it was an extremely rich person who had everything.
Yes.
There was a white
blue collar worker, yes,
construction worker
that had some of the money,
that had
a little bit of money,
and then there was a black man who represented the poor, non-working people
that had nothing on his plate.
Right, and the rich guy is telling the guy with a little bit, you need to share that
with the poor person.
With the poor person, and
then he's telling the poor black person, see, you don't have anything because this blue collar white guy doesn't want to give you anything.
Right, but when I looked at it, all I simply saw was someone trying to explain socialism. When Michael looks at it, he sees they're representing poor people as black.
Yes.
Stereotypes.
Yes, stereotypes.
And so just from our perspectives, I mean, I understood what the point of the post was. I wasn't looking beyond that.
Yes.
But because of the way Michael's grown up and the experiences he's had, he looked at that and
because in essence, the post does say, the post literally dictates a picture of black people not being able to have anything unless white people either tell us, give it to us, or something to that effect.
And even then, it also goes further and says that black people don't work.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? It's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Now, if everybody in that post was white, I probably would have looked at that and been like, that's weird. Why would somebody put something? Because there's nothing about that post I probably could have identified with. And then I would have to look deeper and says, well, are they saying the rich pretty much is causing all this hate and discontent? You know, the rich people are sitting back making money and causing the middle class and the poor people to fight each other? Like, that's what I would have got out of that. But as soon as I saw that black dude right there with nothing on his plate, and he was supposed to represent, the have-nots, I was like, really? This is how you see us?
Right, and the whole thing comes back to our perspectives. I identify with the construction worker.
Yes.
And you identify with the poor guy.
Yeah.
But it was really based on skin color, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, and that's why we saw that post in two completely different ways.
Yeah. Now, I did not call the person that posted that. I didn't say he was a racist. I did imply that, hey, you might want to talk. You might want to talk to, if you have any black friends, they should have told you that this was not cool. But it is what it is.
Well, it took me a while because Michael called me. He was in an outrage when he called me, and he went off on it. I'm like, well, it's about socialism. I mean, I don't see what you're so upset about. And then he explained it to me from his perspective, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where that would really tick you off at that point. But for me, that's not in my experience. My experience is with that construction worker. I work hard for my money, and I see the government or whatever trying to take everything I got to give it to somebody else.
Yes,
it is that's where I'm looking at it from. He's just looking at the representation, and he mentioned those videos that we came across where this guy just explains all the things he's been telling me all this time, but he explains it in my language, so I fully understand what he's trying to say. Because I told Michael that, like, this one video, it was like the guy hit me upside the head with a 2x4.
Yeah.
And then after I thought about it, I was like, oh, Michael's been saying that the whole time. I just wasn't getting it. But this guy really explained it well. He, in that same video, I believe it's the exact same video, he says that we see, when we look at something, we look at it in terms of what we see in the rearview mirror. So we look back on our experiences, and that's how we interpret what we interpret.
Yes.
And I mean, I would use the term, those are our filters.
Yes.
That we see everything through a filter. And we had discussions on that all the time where Michael would say, why do people think like this? It's like, well, that's just normal thought for us. On the white side, I'm going to say.
Yes.
That's just normal thought. That's just the way we think. And what I've been trying to get across to Michael is, you can't assume, and I think we said this in another podcast.
Yes.
You can't assume the person you're talking to understands your perspective. You're going to have to explain
it. Yes.
You're going to have to tell them exactly why you see it the way you see it.
Yes.
In a civil way, which is all about this show.
Yes.
And that's if you want,
and
somebody
that's where the being woke comes from. If I'm sorry, having somebody from a different race totally identify and assimilate to your culture is not you knowing that other culture. And this is what I mean by that. And again, I'm gonna tie this to the whole woke thing. I am not a woke black man about white culture because I got Kevin as my friend, and Kevin totally identifies with every single thing I do in my culture. If Kevin dresses like me and listens to the same music I listen to, and does and like I like hip hop. If Kevin listens to hip hop, it is what it is. It's good, but if nothing about him identifies with white American culture and all of it identifies with kind of urban or black culture, it is what it is. I can't make Kevin my friend and be like, oh yeah, I'm hip, I'm woke because I know this white dude named Kevin. No, that doesn't work. So it's the same thing on the other side of the fence. If you are a white person in this country and you know tons of conservative black people that believe and think like you do, that does not give you an insight to black culture. Specifically, if those black people themselves do not identify with black culture.
But I have a black friend.
No. No. I'm not trying to make... and again, I am not trying to tell people that they're racist. What I'm trying to tell people is you are not woke because you have a conservative black friend that has good credit and goes to the same church you go to. and his wife fixes green bean casserole during Christmas dinner. Like, I'm trying to tell you, no, you're not woke. Okay? That black friend you have, or those black friends you have, does not give you an insight to real, like, the other side of the fence of black culture. Okay? It just doesn't. It just is what it is. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a racist. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't give you insight into that other side of culture. And so if you want to literally understand, like, you really don't have to care about other culture. We're not trying to, like I said, we're not trying to demonize anybody. But the whole woke thing is, if I come to you and I say, hey man, I know you believe this way, but the way I grew up and my experiences in this country have taught me that, you know, some people just don't have that opportunity. What are you talking about? I mean, I've got a black friend and come on, man, stop, bro. Like, you can, I cannot speak for all black people, just like your black friend can't speak for all black people. It just is what it is. I only have one little drop in a bucket when it comes to just black people in America. You see what I'm saying? There are other different things that go on in our culture or other sides of the culture that you could probably learn about or come from. But your one black friend does not make you woke. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. So saying that, on the opposite end of that woke thing, it's not your job to go on the internet and try to make people feel guilty for not being woke. That's not what this is about. So
no, it's your job to make them feel guilty if they're white.
No, it's not. Is it? And again, we don't want to make people feel guilty. We just trying to create conversation. But my question to the people out there that are literally trying to make people feel bad, what is your purpose for doing that? I really do want to understand. Like, I want to understand that. Like I will put something my sarcasm backfired. I sent you that, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I got a good. I have an acquaintance that I served in the military with, and he puts stuff on. He puts memes and his thoughts up on the internet all the time, and I always put my posts. Okay, and again, we disagree on a lot of stuff because we're from two different sides of culture. Okay, but I really believe that this person, okay, is an honest to God, good, God-fearing, because I know he's Christian person. You see what I'm saying? I don't think he's a racist. Okay, I don't think anything, like, he's not anything like that. But a lot of times he puts stuff up that lets me know he's kind of insensitive to the other cultures, so to speak. And it's okay. Okay, so me trying to be woke, okay, I put a sarcastic comment on his page. And it literally backfired. This dude comes out of right field and likes my comment and says, yeah, we need more people like this. Literally. And I was just trying to be sarcastic. So I wrote Kevin back and I said, yeah, this guy agreed with me. So I guess I'm a Republican now. My sarcasm backfired. Like, so I'm just,
welcome to the right.
Yeah. So if that happened to me, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are people doing just by trying to hurt people's feelings and make them feel bad about themselves? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to have a discussion if you're really trying to invoke depression, sadness, whatever? Like, why are you trying to invoke that kind of stuff? Like, how can you fix anything if you're trying to invoke white guilt, so to speak? You know, I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from.
None of that makes sense to me at all. People. Well, maybe because it runs so rampant in our culture, in our society, that whenever you post something, people think you're so attached to what you're saying, and they make assumptions. Like, for instance, someone who knows me as her description of me is a warm, sensitive, logical guy, and something got said about Trump, and it was just a flat out lie, and I tend to stand up for truth. I've never been a Trump supporter. I think some of the things he's done has been good, but you know, I don't support him, as it were. And I just said, hey, this thing they're saying about Trump is a lie. Well, the assumption was, well, I must be a Trump supporter and I'm going to vote for him and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, I'm just correcting the record.
You understand that.
So there's this whole one line that you put out there. Now, if she's calling, that is somebody I haven't seen in a really, really long time. So if she knows me as someone who's warm and compassionate and, you know, what all those terms that she might use, and then one statement is enough to just say, oh, you support Trump, you're a jerk.
You're a piece of...
There were several choice words I wanted to... And that seems to be this pervasive thing within Facebook, Twitter, wherever it might be. And that's not what it is. When people make a statement, I challenge the statement. I never challenge their character. You know, now, if they are constantly... I mean, there are some people where, you can see...
some stuff you just got to challenge the character, but
there's times when you can see that.
Yeah.
But typically, if someone says something, I don't immediately jump to character. My thing is, let's discuss what you're saying. Now, if through that you show your character as being, you know, an a-hole or something, okay, now I got your character. But I'm still not going to attack it. That's the other thing. I don't see any value in attacking somebody's character. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know what, if that's what you're going to be like, okay, we're not having a discussion anymore. Because I want to have a discussion with people. You don't have to agree with me. As a matter of fact, I prefer you don't, only because how far does discussion go when everybody agrees? You know?
Yeah, true that.
But if we're not going to agree, let's talk civilly about it and just hash it out. Because one of the things that if you watch our earlier shows, Michael and I tend to agree on a lot of things, but that's only because we ended up at that time discussing the topic before we got on camera. And we ended up, in the end, either agreeing or at least coming closer together. And we decided, you know, that's not good for the show. What we need to do is discuss it on the show so people can see, we're on far ends of this thing, but how that conversation, understanding the terms we're using, just defining the conversation itself, framing it so that we both know what we're both talking about. Usually we find a lot of things in common.
Yes.
You know, even if we end up not agreeing on everything, we find the common ground in the middle. And what was happening is we were finding common ground before we got on camera, and therefore it looked like we weren't really agreeing, or it looked like we were agreeing on too much.
Yeah.
That's not where we started out.
I mean, just like this conversation, like, I consider myself woke, and Kevin hates wokeness because in his experience, this is where the disagreement is. The disagreement is, in his experience, wokeness is something that these young white people are doing to make him look stupid on the internet. And so he hates it.
Well, they, honestly, I don't think they make me look stupid.
Yes, well, they're trying to.
But they try to.
Yes, it's he thinks it's a troll thing, and that's why he hates it. And so I'm trying to convince him that wokeness is a good thing, and he's like, "No, wokeness is a bad thing. Look."
and really, I mean, I think the Guardian actually spelled it out. It started as a good thing.
Yes,
but when it got hijacked by and I don't think they say it in this article, but in a lot of other articles I've read, it's basically white
liberals,
white female liberals. Actually,
oh yeah,
is where a lot of it comes from.
Yes.
Or at least that's what the articles are saying. I'm not saying I don't take a stand on where it came from. I just know that in my experience, it's a negative thing. It's not a good thing.
Yes.
No. So I think we're about to wrap up. I do have a question for you, though.
What you got?
Okay. Am I woke?
I would say we're on the road to getting there. That is a honest opinion of it. What makes a person woke is actual actions that you can see results in their actual life. Like I am not around Kevin 24/7. So
both me and my wife are happy about that.
Yes. So there is there's only so much of Michael that people can take. Yeah. So but there's the only way for Kevin to know that, for a person to know that they are woke is to see to see a positive result in some place where they knew they would not operate before. So this is what I mean. If you were a white person and the only people that you even thought, like you used to think, oh, that's a good black guy. Let's say you think like that. Oh, that's a good black guy. That's a good black person. Like they're black, but they're good because of this. And that black person over there is not a good black person because of this. Like I know some white people that think like that. I was told that to my face by a white person. I was told that I was not the N-word, that I was considered a good black person because of my hard work and my that. Like I was told that to my face. And again, this person was not racist. It's just how they were raised. And it is what it is. If a person like that starts practicing a certain way and starts changing their mindset to respect certain things about black people that he didn't respect before. Like, and this is what I mean. Okay, that person listens to rap music and dresses a certain way. That does not mean that I have to treat that person negatively because of it. I'm still going to look up and say hi to that person, just like I say hi to everybody else that works here. You see what I'm saying? Like stuff like that can make you woke. I mean, I know it sounds simple or stupid, but I'm telling you, it's stuff like that. I've known people that would not even speak to a black person because of how they talk and dress. Literally, they just won't speak to them. Like something's wrong with that person because of the way they talk and dress. They are a threat, and they teach that stuff to their kids, and so now you're trying to figure out why you get treated a certain way in the neighborhood, or why you get treated a certain way on the job by that one person, and it's all because of their mindset about black people. Like literally, oh, you act and dress this way, so you're a threat. Come on, it doesn't have to be that way, And on the other side of the fence, I know some black people that just think all white people are racist. Literally, all white people are racist. That's just it. Like I don't trust white people as far as I can spit. And you're like, dude, how do you get anything done? Like, like realistically, how do you get anything done in your life? Like, how? Come on, man. Do you have life insurance? Do you have any mutual funds or money market accounts or something? Like what are you doing with your life that you just don't trust no white people at all? Like, okay, so and like I said, you just have to have a conversation, man. In those conversations, allowing yourself to hear a different perspective on the same exact thing that you may do differently in life could make you be woke. I mean, because now you are entertaining a different way to look at something or do something or to handle a situation. And it's coming from outside of your culture. You see what I'm saying? And so now you know a little bit about something that you didn't know before, and that gives you experience to operate diversely someplace else. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. As much as I love my people, as much as I love my culture, it's not 100% right all the time, and everything is you know, I can still gain knowledge and wisdom outside of my culture. I can, but if I just want to think, oh, black is everything, and I don't need nothing else. I just need only black people to just tell me what I need and give me what I need. That's it. I don't want to talk to no white people. I don't want nothing from white culture. I don't need it. I don't want to talk to it. Like, come on, man. Really? You're not going to be a very diverse person. I can promise you that.
No, you do have a white friend. Okay, so I guess that's everything for us. Look for us on YouTube under Civil Disagreement TV, on Facebook under Civil Disagreement TV. Our website is civildisagreement.net. And before we go, I just want to say, get out to Ross, buy your Levi woke jeans. But honestly, do remember that pockets are sold separately in case you don't have hands. You don't have to pay for them.
That was the best skit ever.
And that is it for me. I guess anything you want to add?
No, I'm good, man.
Okay, so on that note, we are out.
Peace.
I'm just here chilling with my man K-Dog.